So movie theatres have been around for, the best part of a century, I would say. And they've been such a huge part of, pretty much everyone's lives. Even if you're not a particularly big fan of films, you will have been to the movie theatre, a decent number of times in your life. And I remember as a kid, it was a big day out, as far as I was concerned. It was like, oh, do you fancy going to the cinema? We call it cinema in this country. To go and see this new film that's to come out. Oh, it's really exciting. You could go out with friends, you could go out with your parents, you could go out with your siblings just to see this big film that everybody's talking about. And there was a lot of excitement about, things like buying popcorn and drinks and going in and seeing the ads and the trailers and then the film starting, and, seeing it together with an audience and then coming out, obviously, and being able to discuss the film. It was a great experience. It was a brilliant day out. It was something I really enjoyed as a kid. As an adult, it's not something I enjoy quite as much because, adult films obviously being a little bit longer, it's a little bit more difficult to hold your concentration for that amount of time. I have a very sort of short concentration span just naturally, and I find it very difficult to focus on a film for the best part of 2 hours. I don't like the way, obviously, that you have to sit there and watch the whole film non-stop. You can't stop. If you miss something, tough luck, you just got to keep going. If you need to go to the loo, you can either just sort of quickly nip out at a moment when you don't think there's anything important is going to happen and then quickly come back, or you can just hold it in until the film finishes. And obviously you have to sit there and keep quiet the whole time. And if somebody else is making noise next to you, you'll just have to just sort of sit there and endure it. Like, oh Christ, will you shut up, man? Obviously you can go and see it with other people, but they've obviously got to make time in order to go out and see it, and they've obviously got to have the money in order to go and see it now, because obviously tickets to go and see movies in theatres now is absolutely ridiculous. So a lot of the time now, I sort of just think to myself when a new film comes out, you know what, I have a Blu-ray player, I have a flat screen TV with surround sound downstairs in HD, I have a perfectly comfortable sofa. If I watch it on Blu-ray, I'm going to have the ability to pause, rewind, fast forward and stop the film completely if I feel like coming back to it later. I can just watch it in the comfort of my own home, at my own pace, being able to do whatever I like. I'll just wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. The only snag with that whole thing is that I have to wait a few months. And in fact, ignoring that fact really, it's actually probably better because it's a lot cheaper as well. I mean, the price of movie tickets now to go and see them in the theatre, it's about as much as buying it on DVD. And obviously, if you buy it on DVD, you can watch it as many times as you like, which obviously you can't really do if you rent it. You can probably watch it multiple times if you rent it, if you're very quick in getting through films. But yeah, much cheaper price. You can watch it at your own pace. You can pause, rewind, fast forward in every possible way, except for the fact that you have to wait a few months for it to come out on Blu-ray and DVD. It's just a much better experience. So I just kind of wonder in the long term, and I'm talking like really long term here, like 20, 30 years down the line, as more and more alternative ways to watch films in a much more pleasant and much cheaper way come into fruition. I mean, even if you like 3D films, which I don't personally, I don't understand the appeal of them whatsoever, they have 3D TVs now. You can recreate that service at home. The big screen experience now is completely recreated at home as long as you have enough money. What is the appeal with going to see it in the theatre other than the fact that you can see it as soon as it comes out? For most films, I don't think people are going to be thinking to myself, oh my god, I have to go and see this as soon as it comes out. There's only like a few films where that's really the case, where like everybody's talking about them and everybody is seeing it right away. The Dark Knight Rises and Skyfall are the only films that have come out recently where I think that's probably the case. The new Hobbit film is probably going to be like that as well. I'll probably see that in the theatre, but other than that, there aren't really any films where I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, I have to see this in the theatre. With almost every film that comes out now, I think to myself, I'll just wait till it comes out on Blu-ray, and I'll rent it. So our movie theatre is going to become obsolete down the line. And in many respects, perhaps that might be a good thing, because I've got to believe that if that were to happen, the price of watching these films on demand or renting them from these various systems or services that provide you being able to watch films on demand like this, I imagine the price for doing that would go up, because obviously the studio would need to make all of their money from these services now. So their fee would be inserted into the price of watching these films on demand, which is why going to see it in the theatre is so damn expensive now. It's because studios need their fee as well, on top of the theatre trying to make a profit from seeing this film. But the thing is, these systems and these services that distribute films on demand and being able to rent them and everything, they don't have to pay for things like projectors and seats and, you know, these massive screens that show the film and having to show the film multiple times. And they don't have to account for the film being sold out either. So there's a lot of other things that movie theatres have to take care of and pay for in order to make profit from the films that they're showing. On-demand services are not going to have to worry about. So in the long run, perhaps this would be a good thing. I mean, the obvious natural reaction to movie theatres becoming obsolete would be that it would just kill the film industry, and all films from that point on would just be complete and utter crap, because, you know, they wouldn't be making as much money now, and there wouldn't be as much of an incentive to keep making films. But you look at things like the music industry. The music industry has never forced people to go into one particular building and listen to the film once, listen to the song once, and then come out and wait a few months until it properly comes out on like an album or available on iTunes or whatever. And the music industry is still huge. So if the music industry can work like that, why not the film industry? It does kind of puzzle me, what the purpose of movie theatres is now. Watch films in so many other ways in a much more pleasant environment, and it's just a much more pleasant experience, and it's for a much cheaper price for the most part. I mean, I suppose, if you really wanted to recreate the experience of going to the theatre, you do have to pay for a flat screen HD TV and surround sound and probably a Blu-ray player as well. But once you've done that once, you can watch any film that way, in the comfort of your own home. You can pause if you just want to go and get a drink. You can rewind if you missed something. If you come to a part of the film you don't particularly like, you can just fast forward. And if you're just feeling kind of tired or a bit bored of the film, you can stop it and come back to it later, or even just chuck it in the bin if it's real complete crap. There is sort of the natural suspicion, if movie theatres were to become obsolete, that the standard of films being shown, and the big budget films that keep coming out every year, the standard of them would just drop off completely because they wouldn't be making as much money. I kind of wonder if that would actually happen. I'm not sure. It's certainly not something that's going to happen anytime soon. It may not even happen in my lifetime, but I do suspect at some point in the future we're going to say goodbye to movie theatres, and all films are just going to be shown online or on movie TV channels on demand from that point on, and that will be the sole way in which films will make money. Perhaps in the long run that will be a good thing. I honestly can't say at this point, but let me know what you guys think. Would you want movie theatres to become obsolete? Do you think they will become obsolete? And if so, how far down the line will it happen? Let me know. It's something that's been bugging me for a while. Okay, I will see you guys later.